Hi guys, my name is Lauren here, and we're doing 20 men you won't believe actually exist. Okay, let's get started.
20 men you won't believe actually exist. Number 21. Today we look at 20 men you won't believe actually exist. Number 21 will blow your mind. Number 20. The nickname Happy isn't hard to understand once you get a look at Carlos Happy Rodriguez. The man is essentially missing the top half of his head. Carlos was not born this way. Instead, the injury was sustained during a car accident. The young man hit a pole and was thrown through the front windshield and landed on his head at only 14 years of age. He attributes the accident to his use of drugs at the time, and now he uses his obvious deformity as a means to try to help others avoid drugs in their own lives, at least while driving. Seriously, next time you think about drinking and driving, just remember this dude's head. Number 19. To be the shortest man is quite an accomplishment, and Junray Balawing has recently taken that title after the death of Chandra Bahadur Dangi, who, until his passing, held the title. Living in the Philippines, Junray is 23.6 inches and weighs only 11 pounds. This means that he is 7 centimeters shorter than the next living short man. Fascinatingly, Junray grew until the age of 1, at which point he essentially stopped all growth. Born in 1993, Junray is now 22 years old. All in all, Junray lives quite a normal life. He had a beer on his 18th birthday before the Guinness World Records ceremony, announcing him as the shortest man. And of course, he can't wait to fall in love and get married. Number 18. At 24 years old, Nick Stolborough holds the Guinness record for the longest tongue in the world. Calm down, ladies. From the edge of his mouth, the tongue measures 3.97 inches to the tip. Adrienne Lewis reportedly has a longer tongue at 4 inches, but she has not been officially judged. Stolborough is the right guy for a long tongue, showing it off almost as much as Miley Cyrus shows off hers. Number 17. Merhan Karimi Nasseri is famous for reasons other than physical attributes. In fact, the reason he's so unbelievable is actually quite sad. Nasseri, who hails from Iran, lived for almost 18 years in France's Charles de Gaulle Airport. My flight's been delayed 1 hour! In fact, the only reason he left the terminal after this time was that he required hospitalization. This strange existence stems from a long story. Long story short, Nasseri was a refugee who had lost his papers. With no documentation, there was no chance of him entering France, but also no chance of him returning to Iran, from where he had been exiled. His life even inspired the Tom Hanks movie, The Terminal. Number 16. According to the Guinness World Records, Gary Turner has the stretchiest skin in the world. Of his stretchy skin, it is his stomach which can be stretched the farthest, to a total of 6¼ inches from his body. Gary's elastic skin is caused by a medical condition called Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which also affects his internal organs and ligaments. He shares that the stretchy skin is in no way painful, but the condition does hurt his joints. However, the chances of ending up with such skin is rare, as Gary's condition only affects 1 in 100,000 people, and even then, it rarely leads to such a distension of the skin. Number 15. Tran Van Hey has been known as the man with the longest hair in the world. According to his wife, he had not cut his hair for over 50 years before he died. At the time of Tran Van Hay's death, his hair was over 22 feet 4 inches long and weighed over 23 pounds. Part of that weight may have come from dirt, since his hair was reportedly washed very infrequently. For example, it had been 11 years since he had washed his hair when he passed away at the age of 79. The man used to pile all the hair in his head when traveling or working, and I can only imagine that it must have given him a bit of a headache. As for the reason for Tran's long hair, his wife credits his fear of becoming sick after getting a haircut, which had happened several times previously. Number 14. While his stomach might not be as stretchy as Gary Turner's is, Francisco Domingo Joaquim has still got a pretty stretchy part of his body, his mouth. At 20 years old, Francisco is proud to be called the man with the widest mouth in the world. He used to show off his mouth with tricks on the streets of Luanda.
Yeah, because he has a big mouth.
His mouth. At 20 years old, and later became world famous through Man man with the widest mouth in the world. He used to show off his mouth's width with tricks on the streets of Luanda, the capital of his home, Angola, and later became world famous through videos posted on YouTube. His mouth measures in at 6.7 inches wide, and he has even fit an entire can of soda sideways into his mouth. Number 13. There are a few lengths that men care about on their bodies, but Ram Singh Chauhan takes the cake for the longest moustache in the world. In fact, he is himself
From lions to gorillas, here are 8 animals that saved people's lives.
We're gonna look at some unbelievable animals that save lives. Let's get into this video.
From lions to gorillas, here are 8 animals that saved people's lives. Number 8. Ning Nong the elephant. In 2004, 8-year-old Amber Owen was on holiday in Phuket, Thailand with her parents, where she grew attached to Ning Nong, a 4-year-old local tame elephant. They spent a lot of time together riding on the beach and eating bananas. One day on one of their rides on the beach, the two friends noticed the water started receding. People ran to the water line to pick up all the fish that had been suddenly left flapping on shore. Ning Nong did the opposite and started running inland. Amber held on tight, trying not to fall off the elephant, when soon after she felt the rush of water as a tsunami had hit the beach. Ning Nong waded through the rough waters and stopped along a stone wall long enough for Amber to climb on top of it, where she was safe from the turmoil. Shortly after, her mom found her and brought her to safety before a second wave came in. She has no doubts that the current would have swept Amber and Ning Nong away. There is no question that the elephant's heroic struggles against the currents saved her life. After the tsunami, Ning Nong was transferred to the Somnuk Elephant Camp in Kanchanburi, where, according to the camp's owner, she always wins the hearts of tourists who visit the camp. Last year, writer Michael Morpurgo adapted Amber and Ning Nong's story into a play. Number 7. Dolphins. Dolphins have been known to save people for centuries, but this particular story is very intriguing. In 2004, lifeguard Rob Howes took his daughter and her 2 friends for a swim off the northern coast of New Zealand near the town of Whangarei. It wasn't long until they started to get surrounded by a pod of dolphins, circling them while pushing them closer and closer together. At first, they thought the dolphins were being playful, but when they tried to break free, 2 of the bigger dolphins forced them back into the middle. Howes was starting to get a bit worried when finally the gravity of the situation became clear. Through the crystal clear water, he noticed a 10-foot-long white shark cruising towards them at full speed. However, upon getting close, the shark got repelled by the group of dolphins and swam away. The girls were unaware of the danger at the time, as Howes did not mention the shark to keep them calm. Good thing. The dolphins continued to circle the group for over 40 minutes, making sure the shark was far gone before letting Howes and the girls swim to safety. Dolphin expert Dr. Diana Reese states that dolphins make conscious decisions about when they intervene. They weigh up the situation and are selective about who and in which circumstances they help. Long story short, if you ever find yourself in the ocean and a dolphin forces you to do something, you better listen. Number 6. Winnie the cat. It seems like people love cats more than they love them, but this cat definitely proves otherwise. In 2007, Winnie, a 14-year-old domestic shorthair, saved its family from certain death by carbon monoxide poisoning. Eric and Kathy Kiesling and their son were asleep at 1 a.m. when the cat began jumping up and down on their bed and meowing like crazy to wake them up. Kathy was reluctant to get up, but Winnie persisted. She said that when she stood up, she felt nauseous and dizzy. She tried to wake her husband but couldn't, as he was unconscious next to her, and she even had trouble calling 911. When the paramedics arrived, they later found their 14-year-old son Michael unconscious on the floor next to his room. The whole family was immediately given oxygen masks and rushed to the hospital, where they made a full recovery. Local authorities believe that had Winnie tried to warn them 5 minutes later, it might have been too late. It turns out that a faulty gas-powered water pump in the basement caused the odorless and deadly gas to build up. Various animals have been known to sense natural disasters due to changes in the environment, but this remains one of the few cases where they were able to sense carbon monoxide. The American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals named Winnie the Cat of the Year, and Reader's Digest featured Winnie as a Hero Pet of the Year in 2009. You go, Winnie! Number 5. Sea lions. Like dolphins, sea lions have also been known to aid humans or other animals in danger. In 2000, 21-year-old Kevin Hines jumped off the Golden Gate Bridge into the San Francisco Bay to take his own life. Hines suffered from mental illnesses such as psychosis, bipolar disorder, and depression, and heard voices instructing him to jump. He miraculously survived the fall but suffered a severe spinal injury. Due to the frigid waters, he was at great risk of hypothermia setting in. It wasn't long until Hines noticed an animal swimming below him in the water, and he was convinced that it was a shark preparing to finish the job. As it turned out, the creature was actually a sea lion circling around and pushing him up to the surface to keep him afloat. Bystanders that saw Hines make the jump believed that he was actually alone in the water or that it was a seal that saved him, but he firmly upholds that it was in fact a sea lion. Hines made a full recovery thanks to intensive surgery and physical therapy, and has written a book about his experience and struggles with mental illness titled Cracked, Not Broken: Surviving and Thriving After a Suicide Attempt. He also became a mental health speaker, sharing his story around the world to help other people with suicidal thoughts. Number 4. Lions. While a lion might not be the first animal that you hope to come across when you need help, these lions have shown that they can be nice cats as well. In 2005, a 12-year-old girl in Ethiopia was abducted on her way home from school and held captive for a week. She was raped and severely beaten as the men tried to force her into marriage. 3 lions heard the girl crying and whimpering and chased the abductors away. They then stood guard for half a day until she was found by the Ethiopian police. The girl was treated for shock and injuries she had suffered during her ordeal home from school and held captive for a week. She was raped and be nice cats as well. In 2005, a 12-year-old girl in Ethiopia was abducted on her way home from school and held captive for a week. She was raped and severely beaten as the men tried to force her into marriage. 3 lions heard the girl crying and whimpering and chased the abductors away. They then stood guard for half a day until she was found by the Ethiopian police. The girl was treated for shock and injuries she had suffered during her ordeal. Wildlife expert Stuart Williams believes the girl's crying may have sounded like the meowing of a cub in danger, which would explain why the lions protected her instead of trying to eat her. If they had not come to protect her, things may have gotten a lot worse. The lions in Ethiopia are famous for their large black manes and are the country's national symbol. Unfortunately, hunters still kill the animals for their skin. Williams estimates that only 1,000 Ethiopian lions remain in the wild. Number 3. Mila the beluga whale. In 2009, diver Yang Yoon entered a free diving contest at China's Harbin Polar Land, which required competitors to sink to the bottom of an aquarium 20 feet deep without any breathing equipment and stay there as long as possible amid the beluga.
Well, guys, that's gonna be enough for our video. So please like, subscribe, and comment down below, and ring the bell so we get lots and lots of notifications. And make sure you go to my store because I'm selling lots and lots of comics and paper airplanes. Because I know everyone loves comics. So, not everyone loves comics and paper airplanes. That was a fail. But I hope you guys have a good day, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.